Step into a world where the most profound messages are never spoken aloud. In the heart of Japan, communication is an art form of subtlety, a delicate dance of intuition known as reading the air. It is a cultural superpower that governs everything from business negotiations to silent dinners between lifelong friends. While the West often prizes directness and verbal clarity, the Japanese soul finds truth in the spaces between words. Today, we peel back the layers of Kuki-o-yomu, exploring how a society thrives on the unsaid and why understanding this silent language is the key to unlocking a deeper connection with the human experience. To understand silent communication, we must first look at the concept of Ishin Denshin. This translates roughly to what the mind thinks, the heart transmits. It is the idea of telepathic resonance, where two people are so in sync that words become redundant. In a Japanese household, a mother might know her child is troubled just by the way they place their shoes at the door. In a workshop, an apprentice learns not by asking questions, but by observing the master's every twitch and shadow. This isn't just guesswork, it's a lifelong refinement of empathy, where the goal is to anticipate the needs of others before they are even felt. The core is Kuki-o-yomu. If you fail to sense the mood of a room, you are labeled KY, short for Kuki-yomenai, or one who cannot read the air. This isn't just about being polite, it's about social survival. Imagine a boardroom where a proposal is met with a heavy, lingering silence. In many cultures, this might be seen as an invitation to keep talking. In Japan, that silence is the answer. It is a polite but firm no that allows everyone to save face. To ignore the air is to disrupt the harmony of the group, a cardinal sin in a society that values the wa, or collective peace. This reliance on the unsaid stems from the dual concepts of hone and tatemai. Hone represents one's true feelings and desires, often kept hidden deep within. Tatemai is the built front, the facade one maintains to keep society running smoothly. Silent communication acts as the bridge between these two worlds. By reading the air, you can glimpse the hone behind the tatemai without forcing the other person to expose themselves. It is a protective mechanism, a way to navigate the complexities of human emotion without the blunt trauma of total honesty, which can often be seen as aggressive or insensitive in a high-context culture. In Japan, the eyes truly are the windows to the soul because they are often the only part of the face allowed to speak freely. While Westerners are taught to look for big smiles or dramatic gestures, the Japanese observer looks for the mekubase, the meaningful glance. A slight narrowing of the eyes or a brief look away can signal a shift in the entire conversation. Even the way someone exhales or shifts their weight carries weight. This hyper-awareness of body language creates a layer of communication that is incredibly dense. It's like watching a movie with the sound turned off, yet understanding every single plot point through the actor's subtle micro-expressions. Consider the Japanese tea ceremony, chado. It is perhaps the ultimate expression of silent communication. Every movement of the host, the cleaning of the bowl, the whisking of the tea, is a choreographed message of respect and mindfulness. There is no need for small talk. The guest reads the host's movements, and the host reads the guest's appreciation. The silence in the tea room isn't empty, it's full of intention. In this sacred space, the act of serving and receiving becomes a conversation that transcends the limitations of vocabulary. It is a reminder that some of life's most important connections happen when we finally stop talking. Even in the digital age, the air must be read. In Japan, emails are often long and formal, filled with seasonal greetings that seem like filler to the untrained eye. However, these greetings set the emotional temperature. The absence of a specific phrase or a slight change in the usual honorifics can signal a hidden displeasure or an urgent request. On social media, the seen notification carries immense weight. The timing of a reply is a message in itself. The air has simply migrated from the physical room to the digital space, proving that the need for harmony and indirectness is deeply embedded in the cultural DNA, regardless of the medium used. High-context communication, like that found in Japan, relies on a massive amount of shared cultural knowledge. When everyone knows the rules, you don't have to explain them. This creates a sense of belonging and safety. You are part of the uchi, the inside group. But for an outsider, or gaijin, the air can be impossible to breathe. It feels like everyone else is playing a game where you haven't been told the rules. Yet, the beauty of learning to read the air is that it forces you to slow down. It demands that you stop thinking about what you want to say next and start truly observing the person in front of you. There is a specific term for the beauty found in these silent moments, ma. Ma is the pure space, the interval, the pause. In Japanese architecture, it's the empty corner that gives the room its character. In music, it's the silence between notes. In conversation, ma is what allows the other person to digest what has been said. Westerners often rush to fill a silence, fearing it's awkward. In Japan, silence is often a sign of respect and deep thinking. To give someone ma is to give them the gift of time and space. It is the ultimate form of conversational hospitality, ensuring that no one feels rushed or unheard. However, the pressure to constantly read the air can be exhausting. This is known as kitsukao, or the constant wearing out of one's spirit by worrying about others. In modern Japan, there's a growing movement of people who want to breathe more freely, those who are tired of the constant performance of tatemai. They seek spaces where they can speak their hone without fear of disrupting the wa. This tension between tradition and individual expression is defining the future of Japanese society. Yet, even as things change, the fundamental skill of empathy, of sensing the unspoken, remains a cherished and vital part of what it means to be Japanese. How can we apply this in our own lives? You don't have to be in Tokyo to read the air. It starts with active listening, not just with your ears, but with your eyes and your intuition. It's about noticing the hesitation in a colleague's voice, or the way a friend's smile doesn't quite reach their eyes. When we stop relying solely on words, we open ourselves up to a much richer stream of information. We become more empathetic, more patient, and more connected. In a world that is increasingly loud and distracted, the ability to find meaning in the silence is a rare and precious skill that can transform our relationships and our understanding of the world. As we conclude our journey through the silent language of Japan, remember that communication is more than just a transmission of data. It is a bridge between souls. Kuki wo yomu reminds us that the most important things are often the ones we find hardest to say. By embracing the silence, respecting the ma, and learning to read the air, we don't just become better communicators, we become better humans. So the next time you find yourself in a room full of people, take a breath, stay still for a moment, and see if you can feel the air. You might be surprised at what it's trying to tell you.